The murder of two men forces their families to wrestle with impossible questions. Who is forgiveness for? Does everyone deserve a second chance? Follow Season 2 of The Letter, Ripple Effect, at theletterpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Caplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the Real Estate Show. Thanks for listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. And it has been a great week at Osmond Designs. I don't know about you, but I have a little spring fever and I'm excited to see all the beautiful weather. Utah had a very mild winter and I just have been excited to get through the holidays and bring out all the flowers, all the tulips.
Is it had a really mild winter or is having?
I mean, I think it's already over. I'm thinking positively and moving forward. Like, we're done. Hopefully.
We could have a plot twist.
We hope not. We're putting out all the positivity here on the KSL Real Estate Show. And Utah's just a little too cold. Sometimes I wonder, why do I live in Utah again? I don't know.
You want to answer that question?
No. I was just born and raised here and I don't know any different.
Yeah.
That's why we have airplanes in Delta and a new Salt Lake Airport, right? Oh, anyway, okay. We have Dan Evans. He is our luxury real estate agent here in Utah. Dan, welcome back.
Hey, thank you. And it felt like winter at my house yesterday.
Oh.
It is back, that's for sure. But spring's around the corner.
Is your heating working?
My heating's working.
Oh, good.
Everything's good. It just looked like a winter wasteland at my house yesterday.
You know what spoiled all of us was when it hit 70 degrees that one day.
Yeah.
That wrecked the whole winter vibe.
Yeah, me and the birds got fooled. I thought spring was around the corner.
I think so. Okay, Dan, so you are a regular on the show. We love having you, and you always know what's going on in the luxury home real estate market here in Utah. What's going on with interest rates and with the holidays? How are things faring?
Okay, well, thanks. And that's a good question. And so there was a prevailing thought that once the election happened in Utah, that things would just normalize and it'd all be good. What we've seen the last 2 years, including this year, is that we've seen fairly more normal market trends. So a lot of people in Utah, I mean, those of us who maybe don't appreciate the cold weather, they think no one sells or buys in the wintertime. What we've seen the last 3 years is the second it hits January 1st, the demand for everything has spiked, and especially in the luxury price range. So the few homes that were on the market, homes that we had that were sitting for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, all have sold. So there are sellers that pull off their market during the holidays. No one wants to sell during the holidays. But what we're seeing is buyers have demand and they don't care what the weather looks like. If you want to move, you're ready to move. Just people need to get past the holidays.
It's so true. And people in the luxury home market, they have money. So it really doesn't matter what the interest rates are doing or what's going on in the country.
Yeah, and largely interest rates have been around 7%. I should probably track that more carefully. I get emails from a half dozen lenders every day that say what the rate is, and it's been around 7% since I can remember. So that's probably prevailing for a while, despite what our president says.
It's so true. Okay, this last week, I went to a Utah Valley Parade of Homes meeting with all of the builders, and they announced that there are 41 homes that will be in the Utah Valley Parade of Homes. That is a record. The most they have ever had, I believe, over the last 20 years is 40. So I don't know what's in the water right now, but a lot of these homes are over $3, $4, $5, $6 million homes.
This is the one I went to last year, right?
It is.
We managed to hit 2 homes, and that was an afternoon.
I know. It's crazy town.
So where are these homes?
So it's all alpine clear to Woodland Hills. So it's
all
the Wasatch
along.
Front, all
Okay.
along. Gorgeous homes. There's money. People are building their dream homes. And I would say about 25% of those are spec homes, which is totally insane.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is I've had probably a client or two a year buy a parade home every year for the last 5 years. So what we'll do is we'll typically look into who's in the parade of homes. It is a really hard list to find information about. And
let me know, Dan. I got it. I'll send it to you.
Well, and they don't like you really spreading the word.
Right.
So it's all very secretive because usually these projects go right up till June, right?
They sure do.
But we have people that buy it because usually those parade homes, they're expensive, sure, but they're usually every subcontractor's best foot forward in each house. So you get everyone's best work in every house. So it's pretty cool.
So true. And, it really does take a team to get these homes prepared and ready for these tours. Oftentimes there are 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people that tour each of these homes depending on the location. One specifically that I'm really excited about is in West Lehigh in Eagle Mountain, and it's Firefly Homes, but it's Candlelight Homes, but the community's Firefly.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just starting to build, and it's basically like a whole city out there. I think they have 8,000 homes that they've planned, which is incredible. Then there are gorgeous homes in Provo. Dan, I know you do a lot of river bottoms, homes that are absolutely exquisite. It's the rich and the famous, right? There's gorgeous homes on the east side of Alpine that are stunning homes, and you never have the opportunity to walk into these homes unless you're in the market and you have Dan Evans as your real estate agent. Then you get, a backstage tour. But so many great things in store for Utah right now.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what the trend looks like on the parade. But what I've seen lately, I just went through a home in Holiday yesterday, is a trend towards less square footage but better finish. So where you had a lot of big square footage in probably the 2010s and then even the first part of this decade, you're seeing 5, 6, 7,000 square feet instead of 8, 9, 10 plus thousand square feet. But it's trimmed out and it's nice wood and it's nice finishes.
What are they giving up? There's 2,000, 3,000 square feet that aren't being built. What do you give up in that kind of mansion?
Well, so that's the interesting thing is we'll often sell homes in the 3 to 10 million range. And I can count on my hand the number of times that someone buys a 10,000 or 20,000 square foot home, and they're wonderful homes, but that it actually scratches the itch that they're trying to scratch. And so what they're giving up is usually square footage. That's it.
So they don't have the squash court in addition to the pickleball court and the tennis court inside?
Yeah, but and that's what's funny is I was going to mention this as one of the things we talked about today is one of the trends I'm seeing, and I fall in this category because I have 3 young boys in my house, is I want an indoor court. And people with kids want indoor spaces. So if you do end up with 10,000, usually that comes with some kind of a court.
Well, and we live in Utah, and so you need a place for your kids to go play. And I think that's why Utah probably has so many homes with indoor courts or soccer fields or
basketball courts because you can field a team at home, right?
But exactly. But really, space is so limited for public spaces that if you have the means and you have kids, it's easier to have it at your house.
It is very, very true. I also think that people are doing less bedrooms. They're doing larger bedrooms. Oftentimes they have en suites, so each of those have their own bathrooms because, of course, every child needs their own bathroom, right, Dan?
Yeah, you see a home with 8 or 9 bedrooms and you're like, it's a lot of space.
I don't know how you're cleaning all of that. But.
No, I mean, now it's usually 4 or 5 bedrooms, usually more bathrooms than that, but not many more, and then an office and a gym. And then actually in a home we are going to be selling here probably in the next couple of days, they have a built-in gym, and then they actually plumbed for a cold plunge, and then they have a built-in sauna. And I've seen built-in saunas more in the last year than I've seen before.
Hot, cold, and just right.
Goldilocks. Yep.
Pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. It sounds cold even talking about it.
But it is.
I think garages seem to be a huge trend right now. If you are building a home, do not build less than a 2-car garage. You have to have a 3, a 4, a 5, even detached garages, especially in the luxury home market. People love the detached shops with all their sports cars, the boats, the motorhomes, all the things that we just have to have in Utah, right?
Oh, exactly. I mean, here near downtown Salt Lake, you can get away with a 1/5 acre or a 1/4 acre and a 1 or 2 car garage. As you move further away from downtown, then it becomes 3-car garage, detached garage, pool, all these other things. So you often see people wanting acreage. And by acreage, I mean half acre to an acre.
I think so too. And oftentimes people are not maintaining their home. They're paying for someone to do it. House cleaners used to be only for the rich and famous, but now it seems like everyone has someone clean their home these days. It's like getting your nails done or your hair done or whatever as a woman. Like it's just everyone's doing it.
Yeah, and you hear it from people, especially I met with a couple the other day, and they're selling a home on the East Bench of Salt Lake, a really nice house. And she was bemoaning the fact that her kids, they would rather spend time. And she said something along the lines of, my kids don't keep a house like I did. And talked about how her kids want to play a little bit more.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. What else is going on? Where's the hot spot in Utah?
Okay. So a hot spot in Utah, you mentioned it on the Parade of Homes a little bit, is you're seeing East Bench. You're seeing areas that are landlocked and people are either buying homes and tearing them down. So paying retail and tearing them down, or it's usually a neighborhood that gets torn down. So like a good example in Sandy, there's a road called Dimpledale. It's a parallel to Wasatch, and there's a whole community coming in out of old homes.
Wow. You're listening to Dan Evans. He is our guest on the KSL Real Estate Show today. He is with Summit Realty. And stay tuned. We're going to be right back with more luxury Utah home conversation.
Dinner time. It's where little moments are cherished. With Blue Cash Preferred, get 6% cash back at U.S. supermarkets and bring everyone together. I did say everyone. Learn more at americanexpress.com/explore-BCP. Terms and cashback cap apply with Blue Cash Preferred.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
I'm Dave Cawley, investigative journalist and host of the podcast Cold. In October of 1985, a woman named Cherie Warren left work at a busy Salt Lake City office
to meet her estranged husband at a downtown auto dealership.
She never made it home. Cherie's car surfaced weeks later in Las Vegas.
In the parking lot of a hotel casino.
No one knows how it got there.
Strange. It was strange.
Both Cherie's estranged husband and her boyfriend raised suspicion for investigators.
I kind of thought that he might have done something.
But no arrests were ever made. In Cold Season 3, we dig into double lives, make new connections in the case, and examine the difficulty raised by reasonable doubt.
We want answers just as much as anyone else.
They have creeps like that now too, so nothing's changed.
That's the new Cold Season 3, The Search for Cherie, now available anywhere you get your podcasts.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the Real Estate Show. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. And today I am so happy to welcome back Dan Evans. He is a luxury real estate agent with Summit Realty and one of the best in the state of Utah. Dan, I always love looking at the homes that you list. And I love working with your buyers as an interior designer and furniture store. You always have the coolest people that have incredible stories about their entire life, right? Their businesses are always very unique. It's very exciting. And you get to hobnob with the rich and famous here in Utah. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a ton of fun. Yeah, it's fun to hear the stories of people where they came from and what they end up with, and then to ultimately see the decisions they make on the homes they buy.
What are some of the things that luxury home buyers are looking for these days? What are the must-haves?
Oh, man. Anymore. So let's say you're $2 million and above, and we'll go in tiers. So $2 million and above in the Salt Lake Valley, there is an expectation for everything to be very current. Either the home is outdated and it's on a spectacular lot, so like Federal Heights or Holiday. If it's outdated and you need to do an overhaul, that's about a $2 million home. If it's up to date, you're looking anywhere from 4,000 to 7,000 square feet, depending on the neighborhood. It needs to be remodeled or up to date, trimmed out. Usually you'll see some type of a theater room, whether it's open or closed. Usually you'll see a gym of some kind. And then often like a really nice office space. That's $2 million or so. You jump up to 3, it's a little different. There, the expectation is either like say a Holiday or Salt Lake, it's got to be a new build, or it needs to be really spectacular up here in Yellcrest or Federal Heights. So very recently remodeled, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 square feet, 3-car garage, or if it's a 2-car garage, it's a big 2-car garage, but you see accents, you see coffered ceilings, you see natural wood, you don't see cheap cabinets. Everything is just a nice level. One thing we're also seeing more at 2 and 3 million and above is background and accent lighting, which adds some depth to a lot of rooms. Now, I mean, the finishes can vary, but typically you'll start to see wool carpet in those homes, as well as natural wood has come back with a storm the last little bit. I mean, a lot of homes have manufactured wood, which looks like real wood, but the real wood is coming back.
Definitely, I agree. Okay, what about over 4 or 5 million? What are people requesting or needing?
Over 4, there's an expectation for acreage, like a half acre or an acre. Usually, it's rare that it doesn't come with a pool or that you're not in a private club of some kind like Park City. 4 also means you have a dedicated gym space, dedicated theater space, some type of home automation. And then again, the windows would be expensive, like Pella or higher windows, Anderson windows, something like that. And you're in a landscape situation that isn't just grass and sidewalk. You have a court, a pool, hot tub, outdoor kitchen, that kind of stuff for 4 and above.
So it's about location at that point where you just want to be surrounded by other quality homes. And oftentimes I've noticed that those neighborhoods, they just buy each other's homes. They usually don't even come up for sale because they just move around.
Exactly. And so this is interesting. I was on the way here. One of the things I had thought about talking about, I'm a real estate agent. I get paid when people buy and sell houses. So it's a bit counterintuitive, but I wanted to talk about if this kind of occurrence happened. So for me personally, I have never purchased a home that was on the market. I've only bought off-market homes. And not because I'm targeting people, it's just happened that way.
Wait, what is the secret sauce to this? Because real estate agents, and Heather, you too, have come on this show and talked about this, where I bought the house, but it wasn't on the market. I don't know about this. I'm just some guy. Yeah, help a brother out.
Right? I mean, Jeff, it comes down to you got to show some skin. I show my thighs off, and that's how you get it. No, what happens is I get contacted about people selling homes, and that's how I get my access. Same with Heather, is she's an expert in her neighborhood, so people will reach out. But some of these neighborhoods, so we could even mention, the Provo River Bottoms is a very popular area for homes to trade off market. Same with Walker Lane area. I would say that's popular. Yellcrest, which for those of you who don't know, that's kind of by the U of U, Michigan Avenue, Hubbard, Yell, all those streets. So the secret sauce is if you really want an area and you do or don't have an agent, is just simply, it sounds dumb and old school, but pounding the pavement, knocking on doors.
You mean actually like, hello, are you selling your house?
Oh, yeah.
Like
do
that.
You know someone? I think it's just
100%.
talking to the neighbors, because they usually know what's going on in the neighbor's house next door, and whether there's a divorce situation or whatever if it's an elderly couple, possibly there's rumblings before anyone even knows anything.
But in these neighborhoods, you can't do that. You walk up to the door and say, "Do you have any Grey Poupon for my hamburger?"
Yeah. Well, that's a good icebreaker, I think, asking for mustard and then get into the house. Yeah. Just say, "Do you have any caviar? By the way, are you selling?" What's interesting is now with Facebook and GroupMe and neighborhood chats. I mean, I know our neighborhood, I think my wife is on 3 different group chats, depending on whatever it is. Sorry, neighbors, if you're not on those chats. But
FOMO.
Yeah. But a lot of stuff happens on those chats. So when we list a home for sale in a neighborhood that's a destination neighborhood, we'll usually leverage the neighbors to help us sell the house. So we'll tell the family, "Hey, can you put this on your group chat?" So for me, if there's a neighborhood I want to live in and I do or don't have an agent, if you know someone in the neighborhood, that's entry number 1, is just to have them put it out in the group chat. Number 2 is I've sent mailers. I've knocked doors on Walker Lane in Holiday. So, and you say people don't smile on that, but also who else is going to do it? They're not angry if you have good information.
I'm just thinking if somebody knocked on my door saying, "Hey, are you selling your house?" Because I'll tell you, I get texts all the time. I guess spam texts, not asking if I want to sell my house, but if I want to sell my mother's house at the Jersey Shore, it's not mine. I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, I will tell you, as a neighbor or as a homeowner, I want to find a great neighbor. Yeah. I don't want riffraff moving in next door. So I'm a little more particular about asking my neighbors. More on the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs. Today, our guest is Dan Evans, Summit Realty. We're talking about luxury real estate here on the show. We'll be right back.
Dinner time. It's where little moments are cherished. With Blue Cash Preferred, get 6% cash back at U.S. supermarkets and bring everyone together. I did say everyone. Learn more at americanexpress.com/explore-BCP. Terms and cashback cap apply with Blue Cash Preferred.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
2 years ago, Americans watched in horror as a crisis unfolded at the Kabul airport.
She was tear-gassed and beaten.
Images of thousands desperate to escape Taliban oppression filled our news feeds. More than 80,000 Afghans made it to America. But the story didn't end there.
It was very cold. There was no power, no heat.
Who would help our newest neighbors? I'm Andrea Smartin. In Stranger Becomes Neighbor, you'll hear the stories of some remarkable refugees who left their homes and their dreams behind, only to start over from zero.
Their only possession was 3 blankets.
And you'll meet Americans who stepped up to help them.
You want me to come when you deliver your baby.
What can one person do in the face of an international disaster decades in the making? That's Stranger Becomes Neighbor. Find us at kslpodcast.com. Follow us on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Caplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Show. Jeff Caplan here. Thanks so much for listening. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. And today our guest is Dan Evans. He is a luxury real estate agent here in the state of Utah. His company is Summit Realty. And Dan, I always say you get to deal with the rich and famous here in Utah. Not only are they homeowners, but they're investors. And oftentimes, a lot of these people own multiple homes in other states, and one of them just happens to be in Utah. What are these clients looking for, and what tips and tricks can you give to someone that is in the luxury either as a buyer or as a seller?
Okay, and great. And, as a buyer, the biggest issue is where to go. And once you identify that, as we were discussing, if you have a neighborhood you like, I don't think it's a bad thing to reach out to people you know in the neighborhood to see if someone will sell. I would say, and I was just talking to someone as I was walking in here, and if you're a buyer, you benefit if a seller says, hey, I don't want to hire an agent. I don't want to pay a commission. I just want to sell it. If the home is priced well, that is 100% in the buyer's benefit. If it's not priced well, let them go to market and find out. So that would be number one, is find an area and see if there is actually someone willing to sell. Number two is if there isn't, you give someone like me a call, because in any given neighborhood, there are, we call them sleeper listings or sleeper sellers or whatever you want to call it, where there are probably 2 or 3 people that want to move. But like any task in our life, it's hard to move. Moving is not fun. It's not easy. It involves uprooting your life. But there are 2 or 3 people who, if someone like me approaches them, makes it easy for them, they'll sell their house. And so that involves calling them, knocking on their doors, asking for a Grey Poupon or whatever at their house, or even simply just mailing them info.
Well, and if Dan comes and knocking on your door, it's usually because he wants to give you money. So you should definitely answer the door. I will tell you, I've actually sold quite a few of our own homes that we personally were living in, or investment properties, from people reaching out and saying, I want to buy your home. And my answer is always, well, everything's for sale for the right price. So what's your offer? And some of those have actually been great offers. And my husband at the time said, we're moving, pack your bags, like we're out. And then tears welling up, like, I was just kidding. Like, I don't really want to move. I don't really care about the money. I just love my home and my neighborhood. And
this raises a question. Are people in the real estate industry more mobile, willing to kick their house to the curb, take their kids and move elsewhere than the rest of us?
Well, I felt that way for a while when I was early on in my career and I didn't have kids. And all the listeners, and you all can appreciate, the older your kids get, the deeper the anchor grows where you live. And so my kids are 10, 8, and 6, and the 10 and the 8 have a deep anchor in Draper where we live. So if we're moving in Draper.
Well, and you're moving probably to your neighbor's home across the street because they have friends, and you can't just say, sorry, we're moving to a better house. They don't care about the house.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to look out and say, oh, it's door knocker Dan.
Hey, well, what's funny is, so like yesterday, I was calling around Walker Lane. I have a client who wants to buy a property on Walker Lane. They don't care if it's a piece of land or if it's a house. They just want that area.
I didn't even know there was any land left on Walker Lane.
It's wild. And Walker Lane's an area in Holiday. I don't want to spoil it for the people who live there, but it's a really nice spot. Usually everything's about an acre or 2 acres there.
So wait, do you have to do a demolition and then build something there?
Sometimes if the budget's big enough.
Yeah. Most of these homes are absolutely incredible. They just need to be updated.
Yep. Usually that's the case. And so you see an acre, like for example, an acre on Walker Lane will run $2 to $2.5 million. And so that's just the land. And that's even sometimes with a house on it. But I was calling Walker Lane. I talked to a guy there, and a lot of agents will ask me, because we mentor a fair amount of agents, and they'll ask me, like, do people get mad at you if you call a homeowner? And they'll get mad if you don't know what you're talking about. But if you offer a service or you know what you're talking about, usually it's a nice conversation. But this gentleman said that he's bought 6 or 7 properties in Walker. Anytime something comes up, he considers it every time. And so that's how things trade. And so if you're hiring an agent, you need to have someone who's actually going to hustle and be door knocker Dan,
Door knocker Dan. Well, and you know where the best neighborhoods are. So when you get a buyer and you know approximately where they want to be, you just say, this is where you want to be, because at your price point, this is where the other homes that are within that budget are going to be.
Exactly. And a lot of times you'll hear builders, and builders well, they'll say, I want to be someone's second custom home, not their first custom home. And you see it in the homes where usually a first-time custom home has a lot of the, we'll say, wish fulfillment stuff from when you were kids. And also there'll be a budget to it where they'll say, oh man, this number looks so big and it's getting bigger by the minute. let's just start cutting budget so we can finish this house.
So it's different then if you're talking about somebody who's just hit it big, has money now and says, let's get the house of our dreams, as opposed to somebody who's been living around that area and is whispering, looking to move up the street.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier, sometimes it doesn't scratch the itch they thought it would scratch. And there are serial home builders who are not builders, but they're just homeowners that like to build. And whatever they're hoping it would mean to them, it doesn't mean it. And so usually that second or third go around is where people figure out what means a lot.
So the first time around, Heather, you probably have this experience in real estate as well. You're scratching an itch from your childhood. I always wanted a baseball card room and things like that.
Yep. Or I want a slide or, whatever it is. You see the parade of homes, love it or hate it, you see some homes where there's very much wish fulfillment, but then there's also practical and really trimmed out homes.
Well, and I always call it new money.
Yeah,
you
there we
can
go.
tell the people that have new money that just came into an inheritance. It was not even 2 years ago. One of the most beautiful homes in Alpine we were associated with. We did all the furniture and the interior design. And they had the pool, huge homes. Every bedroom had en suites. I mean, all the luxuries you could ever imagine. And I asked, what does the husband do? And they told me, and I was thinking, that is nowhere near where he made his money. There's more to the story because that person could not afford a home like this. And it actually ended up being an inheritance. And you know that those parents scrimped and saved. And then he inherited it all and built his dream home. So I always tell this to my mom, you earn the money, spend your money.
Yeah.
If not, you're going to give it to your kids and they're going to build their dream homes and drive your luxury car that you should have been having that entire time. Of course, it's always a great idea to invest your money and be smart with your money, but it's okay to build your luxury home. It's okay to call Dan Evans and see what's out there on the market. And it might be more affordable than you actually think. You may have more equity in your home. And just getting in the right place.
Yeah. I mean, and even I had a buddy who built a big home. I won't say the builder or where, but it was about 10 years ago. And the home was so big that they had, I think their master or primary suite, whatever we call it these days, I've heard both, was 3,000 square feet. And they had 3 young kids. So the home, I think, was close to 20,000 square feet. And their bedroom was 3,000 square feet. And I think about my little kids. Yeah. I think about my kids. And if they're like, Dad, Mom, in the middle of the night, if I have to go through 3,000 square feet and then another 6,000 square feet to get them.
3,000 square foot bedroom. You could have a 70-foot bed in there.
You could have, you could have a pool in there. You can do whatever you want.
Okay, let me tell you about one of my neighbors. We helped them furnish their home. It was crazy numbers for all the furnishings. Okay, so she did exactly what you're saying. They built their dream home. However, they only had 2 kids left at the time when they built this. I think it was approximately 18,000 square foot home. And they built a theater room. And I think the theater room in the basement, it had seating for, I think it was 60 people. Which sounds,
wow. 60?
Sounds incredible, right? Sounds incredible. But she said they never used it because they just wanted to go to a theater. Because there's the popcorn there and there's the
60 seats. You could start a religion.
I know. So she said, my husband and I don't want to sit in our basement in a 60, seated theater room. And so sometimes, like you're just saying, it doesn't quite look the same when you're designing your plans on paper, and then when you build it, it can get away from you real quick.
It can get away from you. And I mean, now we deal with famous people, and those folks are on a different plane than a lot of us. Where
how so? What makes the celebrity different?
Well, like if you're LeBron James, you can't go to a movie theater and watch a movie. You've got to do everything at your house. I mean, we've sold a few jazz players' homes, and those guys, they've done very well for themselves financially and physically, but they can't go to the mall like we can or go to a theater like we can.
Okay, you must follow this because you're in the luxury home business. Michael Jordan's home.
Yeah.
He couldn't sell it for 14 years. I don't know what it was about that home, but it was his marital home where he raised his kids, put it on the market as he was, his marriage was breaking down. And it sat on the market as he slowly lowered the price over about 15 years, and he got less than half his original ask.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. And a home like that's highly custom. It's also Michael Jordan. I mean, it's tough, but if it's highly custom and hasn't been updated, it's tough to justify a high price.
Highly custom, it has a number 23 on the iron gates.
Oh, yeah.
So right from the way in the door, it's extremely custom.
Exactly. But if it's something where it's been updated or priced well, I would assume that the theory was this is Michael Jordan's house, so why wouldn't you want to buy it? But he actually had a home in Park City at a golf course called Glen Wild. And we had the home for sale across the street from it. And that home had a rock that if you looked at it right, you could see the number 23 on the rock. So it was actually carved in the rock. But if you looked at it, you would think it was just a normal rock. That home sold in like 3 months.
Wow. Well, and I feel like people in that price range, they have their list of wants and hopes, dreams, and wishes. And if it's not checking all the boxes, they're not buying that home. So they'll just go build their own or they'll figure out another home. So something that is too specific can really, deter a lot of the buyers as well.
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, we often say, did you do this for the next buyer or for your own enjoyment?
Right.
And then you have to price it accordingly.
For sure. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. Today we have Dan Evans, Summit Realty. How do people find you?
Best way is my phone number, 801-372-3512. You have our social media, which is on Instagram and Facebook, and then our website, evansteamutah.com.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dinner time. It's where little moments are cherished. With Blue Cash Preferred, get 6% cash back at U.S. supermarkets and bring everyone together. I did say everyone. Learn more at americanexpress.com/explore-BCP. Terms and cashback cap apply with Blue Cash Preferred.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
2 years ago, Americans watched in horror as a crisis unfolded at the Kabul airport.
She was tear-gassed and beaten.
Images of thousands desperate to escape Taliban oppression filled our news feeds. More than 80,000 Afghans made it to America. But the story didn't end there.
It was very cold. There was no power, no heat.
Who would help our newest neighbors? I'm Andrea Smartin. In Stranger Becomes Neighbor, you'll hear the stories of some remarkable refugees who left their homes and their dreams behind, only to start over from zero.
Their only possession was 3 blankets.
And you'll meet Americans who stepped up to help them.
You want me to come when you deliver your baby.
What can one person do in the face of an international disaster decades in the making? That's Stranger Becomes Neighbor. Find us at kslpodcast.com, follow us on Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you listen.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Show. Jeff Caplan here. Thank you for listening. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, and today we have Dan Evans. He is a rock star in the luxury home real estate market. His company he works for is Summit Realty. And Dan, I love all of the homes that you list. I love the homes that you represent your buyers to purchase these homes. And I love to furnish your homes, Dan, because usually these people have really great taste and they have a lot of money, and it's just so fun and so exciting.
Yeah, usually when people say, is the furniture included? If it's coming from Osmond and it's really nice, you better pay a price for it. That's for sure.
Buy it.
It's not R.C. Willey.
Can we say that on the show?
Sure. You can say anything.
Of course we can. We love R.C. Willey, but
yes, they're great.
Only if you want the same things as 7 of your neighbors. But I'm just saying. we love Utah. We love real estate. And we love all of the luxury home market. It helps all of us. It's what we all aspire to have. We want that dream home. And it may not be, your dream may not be someone else's dream. And that's what makes touring all of these homes so much fun. And I think that's why the Parade of Homes is like the Super Bowl here in Utah. We have Utah Valley, we have St. George, we have Park City, we have Salt Lake City, North Salt Lake. I mean, in every community, there are always these homes that are just absolutely incredible, over the top. And everyone wants to go and see them, and the homeowner gets significant discounts for putting their home in the parade, which is fantastic. Real quick, before I turn more time over to Dan, I do want to give a shout out to Central Bank, who is the title sponsor of this KSL Real Estate Show, and the title sponsor with me, that we partner together for the Parade of Homes. And I love them. They have made Osmond Designs who I am today. They've invested in my hopes, dreams, and wishes, and been so supportive, not only for myself and my personal life, my business, but also my kids and starting their businesses, and also savings accounts and whatnots. If you're thinking of remodeling your home, they do HELOC loans, and they also do new construction home loans if you are considering building a home. Okay, Dan, we have a few minutes left. What's the latest on luxury home market here in Utah?
Well, so to continue our discussion about custom homes, is you mentioned something, and we were talking about like famous people don't have the luxury, whether you say it or not, of going to a theater or going to a restaurant without getting bothered. And so a lot of these giant square footage homes that have everything in it, theater, spa. I mean, I saw a home where they had a spa that looked like the Bellagio spa.
I even heard of gun ranges.
Gun ranges are very common.
That's cool.
And if you're so famous you can't get out, that's kind of what you're left with. But what we found for a lot of people, the trend has been towards going to second places. So being able to go to a theater and experience it with other people, and taking a luxury home and having less square footage and just better trim. Now, some of the things that we see commonly with homes like that is, and we have this in our house, is like an in-home sauna or in-home steam shower. I use the sauna 4 days a week. I love it. And at the same time, we have a theater room in our house. Couldn't tell you the last time I was in that theater room.
It's kind of not your personality to sit.
No, I get ants in my pants. I'm not
Wait, do you watch TV in a different room?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
All right, that's a fail.
But I'm not really an indoor cat, so I'm not an indoor guy necessarily. My kids use the theater room for their Xbox, though, so they play Madden on it, which is fun. But what we do see is things that you're going to use that you wouldn't want to drive to. So again, like a sauna or steam room or cold plunge or hot tub. But some of the bigger items, we're seeing those trend away now, especially for non-famous people.
I think so. And even kitchens that used to be massive, more and more people are just getting takeout. And so I don't know if you're like me, but I don't want to mess up my kitchen. It looks so good. So I just go get the takeout, bring it home, enjoy it. And it's just really easy to clean up.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And the double island. I love double islands. It's the best. But yeah, people don't. I mean, we use our kitchen as I'm thinking about this.
On Sundays?
Yeah, on Sundays. Otherwise, we have a really pretty oven. So
I lived like this as a bachelor.
Seriously?
When I met my wife and she first came to my place, there was like the paper seal in the oven, and I'd been there for 7 months.
If you were to open my fridge right now, it's to-go boxes, like a case of water. Like, we talk about everything on this KSL Real Estate Show. Full disclosure.
Yeah, microwave is well used, but otherwise no. So I was going to ask you just finally, why is the Utah County and the St. George the most popular parade homes? Because I would say those are the most popular.
No, not only in Utah, but also national recognition. People fly in to see these homes. And again, they're just gorgeous. We have 41 homes in the Utah Valley Parade homes this year. And Dan Evans, I think every single day is parade day for you, because you get to go into the best and biggest homes in the state of Utah and help these buyers. How do people find you before we close?
Yep, I'm headed to Park City as we speak. So my number is 801-372-3512. Also on the social media, on Instagram and Facebook, on Evans Team, and then our website is evansteamutah.com.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of the Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores, here with Jeff Caplan, KSL, and Dan Evans, Summit Realty, signing off. See you next week.
Spring break is here, a perfect time to make memories and strengthen bonds with your kids. Research shows that kids who feel close to their parents are less likely to drink alcohol. Did you know alcohol affects a developing brain differently than in adults? A young person's brain keeps developing well into their 20s. Alcohol can alter this development, potentially affecting brain structure and function, leading to learning problems and a greater risk for alcohol use disorder. That's why open conversations about not drinking underage are so important. It doesn't have to be a big talk, just casual, ongoing conversations. Parents play a key role. Even a small amount of parental acceptability can lead to alcohol use. Utah research shows when a child understands that their parents feel it would be very wrong, not just wrong, very wrong, to drink underage, 9 out of 10 kids don't. Every child deserves to reach 21 with a healthy brain and a bright future. For more information and tips on preventing underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.